Peasant Productions presents the math of ESP. Why it works, even if you don't believe in it. Okay, as I've been pointing out a variety of things through here, and I'm showing you how military, government space agencies, and elite rich space agencies all spend an enormous amount of time telling you how it's very dangerous in space, it's very expensive to try and get up there, it is even more expensive to try and remain up there and do anything, and we really shouldn't be trying to worry about that. We just need to worry about stuff. Until, of course, I came along with this, and the United States said, oh God, get the military up there quick, because if this guy gets out there and people understand freedom, we're in trouble. Yeah. They also realize, hey, you know, if this guy's right, we're all dead in a couple of years, and, you know, that gold-plated watch you're going to give me, boss, it ain't worth nothing. So, yeah. Couple of real quick things to just drift across to give you an idea of what I'm saying, okay? Skylab was before the International Space Station. Skylab had certain things, I believe, if I'm right, it had some kind of revolving wheel area in it that allowed the astronauts to get a little bit of exercise. The International Space Station, of course, has never had that, even though you were bringing parts up inside the shuttle where you could bring up something the size, you know, of a Greyhound bus, school bus, in a single package. Yeah, okay. Suddenly there, you start seeing the illogic. It's just like 9/11. How did a paper passport that would have been on the body of somebody that was consumed in the flames end up on the ground where the FBI and the police could run around waving it, and 2-ton engines that were designed to last and work in environments many thousands of degrees hotter than the hottest flame you saw in any of that. Skyscrapers burning, and a third tower fell. It was never even on fire. It just collapsed. Ooh, look at that. Oh, you know, and of course the mass media thing is, oh, it melted the steel beams because it was so close to the fire. The fire's up here. Number 7 is way down here. There was never any fire there. Yeah. Oops. You need to look at facts. You need to look at evidence. You need to not be afraid to challenge yourself to be wrong or right. I started telling people that, you know, Donald Trump responded within 60 days of my declaring Operation Snowball, Occupy ISS, a go. I am launching it. I'm doing it. It's a one-man revolution. Actually, in 23 days, he responded. Okay? That's fact-checking. There's the 2 items. February 20th, I upload the premiere statement of I'm starting phase 2 of the International Space Station, which is Occupy ISS, and I specifically state in that, you know, hey, Donald Trump and everybody at NASA, everybody's going to exit stage left and run away from the International Space Station, and 23 days later, Donald Trump is jumping up and down, you know, screaming about how, oh God, we got to have a military presence in space, we got to control everything. Yeah. So, things happen, things change, and March 13th was when Donald Trump made the statement. So, you know, there's no way that anybody can turn around and say that, oh, Donald Trump said the statement and then you came along, because there's physical evidence showing otherwise. Okay? So, we're looking at the physical evidence of the International Space Station, okay? 35 years, no workshop whatsoever. 35 years, no spare parts container whatsoever. There is no container of just spare motors, spare pumps, spare patches, you know, anything that those people can use to survive up there. There is nothing there to give them any kind of centrifugal gravity, therefore they are required to come back down to Earth if they ever want to come down to a gravity again, because they're living in zero gravity and it just messes with everything. Sitting on a pedal bicycle in zero gravity has not the same effects on the muscles, the tissues, the bones, the blood circulation, you know, all of that Even the endorphins in your body will respond differently in zero gravity to having even a quarter or half gravity. They don't want that up there because they want these people to have to come back down. And you say, you can't live up there forever. It's not possible. I've already proven with all my stuff you can live up there forever. Everything you need is available. Now, stop and consider, down here on Earth where there's clouds and stuff, yes, solar energy is a little bit hard to use. I'm talking about getting up there and doing, refining of minerals and metals and asteroids and stuff like that. There's nothing in the way. The sun's there 24 hours a day. Matter of fact, you don't even have a 24-hour day because you're not on planet Earth anymore. You're on whatever schedule you want to create and do. Okay? You stick a couple of parabolic mirrors together and you put a chunk of iron meteorite in the middle, and that sucker's going to get mighty hot because there's no dissipation rate high enough for that thing to cool off faster than you can bring sunlight in and beam it at that thing and put it at above melting temperatures so that you can separate it down into its various components. Instant smelting systems. You can immediately start making any of your steels, any of your metals, anything like that, as long as you're out there somewhere finding the resources. Okay? Like I said, the asteroid belt is a debris field of a planet that shattered. Therefore, you will have access to almost everything that was possible on that planet. You're not going to find an asteroid of atmosphere, no, but you're going to find ice and seawater and various like that, things like that. When that planet cracked up and broke and everything went everywhere, or something hit it and it broke into a bunch of pieces, or the joke I've heard within the spiritual realm that somebody turned on an anti-gravity device on the planet. Yeah. On the planet, they were trying to make anti-gravity warp engine type stuff, and they shattered their planet. Okay? I have always been told when I start talking about the stuff that I have to stipulate and understand that warp drives must be built in space. They cannot be built on a planet, because if you turn it on, you'll destroy your planet. Okay? Now, nobody's built warp engines and nobody's built warp drives. You only have that in science fiction, and the science fiction does not explain how you build a series of walls, like energy walls, that allow you to become half there, half not there. That is what a warp system is, okay? Therefore, nobody knows. Currently living on this planet, nobody knows what would happen if you flip a warp drive on inside or on the planet, or inside of its atmosphere. So you have all of these things where NASA's purposely not doing anything. Why? Because NASA is a part of military. Military demands control. Military doesn't care if a soldier dies because he doesn't have enough bullets. They just go grab another soldier and throw him in. People are expendable. People are worthless, okay? Military is only interested in gold and plunder and food and, grabbing the land, taking slaves, that kind of stuff. There is nothing anywhere in history of the human race from here to, say, 15,000 years back that has ever shown any military campaign as anything more than conquest, greed, and plunder. Yeah, that is a problem, okay? So you need to stop and realize you don't want the military running the space programs. You don't want the elite rich like Elon Musk and Richard Branson, who are only interested in it for their elite buddies, okay? They look at this and they're starting to try and figure out how they can get their butts up there, and they want to get their families up there, and to heck with all the workers that built the stuff to get them up there. They can all lay down here and die. Elon Musk is going to sit up there and munch on his GMO apples. Availability. Now, just like you have that smelter satellite sitting out there and doing whatever it wants, and let me see, yep, there it is. We have the good old satellite here, okay? Yeah, the satellite, okay. The moon is technically similar to this, okay? Just as This band here is always facing towards the sun and in rotation, so you've got this constant hot and cold effect as it circulates. The moon, because its period of rotation is 1 lunar month, which means the same side always faces the sun, the same side always faces the dark. So when you are looking at the new moon, which is the dark moon, that is the dark side of the moon. It is not sunlight has crossed over the moon. The moon is simply rotated around and is now in a different place, okay? Now, you have to understand, the moon does orbit on its own axis at a rate of, what, 28.34 days or something like that. So you are experiencing this little bit of something going on, okay? You have, at the absolute pole, north and south of the moon, and on this terminator all the way around it, you have a hot side that's in the sun, you have a cold side that's in the shade. And it is pretty much permanent. Now, North Pole, South Pole, when an eclipse happens, only during the very height of the eclipse are these two areas actually in dark. The rest of the time, if you wanted to be in the best place to see an eclipse happen, you'd want to be somewhere on the east-west axis here, okay? But you have this ability on the cold side and the hot side, you have this ability to have A, passive transference of air, passive transference of water. Okay? Hot water heats up, pumped across, and comes back over to the cold side, cools off, comes back around. You have water pressure supplied simply by that passive system. You don't have to have huge amounts of pumps and stuff to keep this water pumping everywhere. Okay? Corporation control, everything's electric, everything's got pumps, everything's, you know, run through computers and all of that. Survival on the moon. You want a passive system where the water keeps flowing as much as possible. The airflow, again, cycles through from hot to cold, always moving. In your satellites, it's very important because if you sit somewhere, go look at you know, International Space Station, you'll see little fans all over the place, okay? You have to keep the air flowing because there is nothing moving around, so you're breathing in and out and your air's not going anywhere. You're going to asphyxiate yourself pretty much, okay? Because your air's not going anywhere. You're not exchanging new air, whereas here on the planet you have winds and breezes and you know, all of the cycles and stuff, so there's very little going on. If you have passive air systems, while you will still want fans and stuff around, yes, you have a constant airflow created within your satellite, your space station, even your RATs and your shuttles, and of course on your moon bases. And like I said, how big is that moon? How many, you know, how many, you know, going down into the moon, not up and being an asteroid target. You're going to go down into the moon, but you're going to have stuff laid out on the surface. Yes, you're going to be worried about asteroids for that stuff, but most of that stuff is going to be, you know, I would be willing to bet most of the things are going to be 100 feet tall and less, because you don't want them sticking out there as a big, huge target. It's a lot easier to put a flat square mile of solar panels or water heating panels than it is to build a tower sticking up in the air for, you know, 100 feet or something like that. So you have all this different stuff going on, and you have all of this ability to do stuff. And like I said, you look at NASA, no spare parts, no workshop, no place to do anything, no place for any kind of large plant growing facility there. They send up their little seeds. Oh yes, for $10 million we sent up 24 radishes and brought them back, and yes, they all did weird things. Plants living and breeding up there and creating an environment where these people can get out of a tin can environment and walk into something a little better. Oh yeah, you don't want people to feel relaxed up there because you're military. You're not dealing with the fact that it's a different environment, so you should treat it differently, and you should not be doing things based on how you do it on the planet, but rather you should be learning how to adapt to what's up in space. Okay, that's called thinking.